monthly payments and no interest for 2 summers. Plus, ask about our next or we pay $500 installation guarantee. So when unexpected air conditioning issue.
That's coincidental timing. He blocked us for the entire 6 o'clock news. Wow, that's so incredible. It's so incredible. How do you do it? You're such an incredible hacker. Oh, we didn't. We're still 6 minutes left. Oh, it's gonna be the garbage 6 minutes. So did you get in trouble that time when you kept me offline for 2 hours and 45 minutes? Was there like 300 fucking dead videos in a row? Is that how they noticed you were doing something? You were smart, you delete that shit, right? But then there'd be logs of you deleting it, wouldn't there? Holy fuck. You've got the worst fucking interface in the world. I did build better ones. What was the fucking story I wanted to put the title in for? Damn. Shit. What the fuck was that? Oh, right. I remember. I remember. Holy fuck. Can we take longer with this, please? It would give me time to think. This is just like the exact worst amount of time. Like, right at the point where I'm like, fuck it, I don't need a title. Oh, it's working. How many letters ago? Oh, fuck. I have a bunch left. Oh, that's perfect. Fuck, did I just click this? No, apparently I didn't. 3, 4, 5. There we go. Motherfucker. The worst interview, 2.5 minutes. It takes me 2.5 minutes to type the title, and you guys are fucking horrible. Why don't you do it first? Because then I have to do it 30 fucking times instead of once. 2.5 minutes 30 times instead of 2.5 minutes once. That's why. Why do you have to do it 30 times? We've been bitching at YouTube about that for a long time. Well, a year and a half, 2 years.
No, we're not talking about Jeff Bezos. We're going to get to that in a minute. But for the first time ever, astronauts aboard the International Space Station.
You said you're not talking about
flies and blind shrimp without food.
And you're going to talk about it again. So that's twice. So you lied twice.
Scientists hope the crop will help supplement astronaut diets in the future, providing much needed vitamin C and other nutrients. Let's get to the other big story. Of course, Jeff Bezos, he and his Blue Origin rocket making history today.
The billionaire advancing private space tourism with a launch to the edge of space. Our Jackson Fosco has more.
Traveling faster than the speed of sound, 4 non-astronauts ascended towards and into the great unknown. After 15 unmanned test flights, the Blue Origin's crew were the Bezos brothers. A tourist who paid $28 million for his seat, the youngest person ever in space, along with the oldest person to hover above the Earth.
I've been waiting a long time.
Wally Funk, who was denied the chance to be an astronaut 60 years ago because of her gender.
I've done a lot of astronaut training, and I could always beat the guys. I want to go again fast.
The journey lasted only about 10 minutes, and about a third of that was in zero gravity, 102 kilometers above the ground, before a perfect touchdown. The rocket went further than the vehicle used by Virgin's Richard Branson, but that far up. To some, distance doesn't matter.
If I'm in a black sky,
that means it took you more distance to get to the same height. You're bad at this.
I'm in space.
540 feet. The launch comes 52 years to the day.
Yeah, you recorded it wrong. You didn't feel like recording it a second time. And everybody repeats it like it makes sense. Right, it doesn't make sense. And no, there's not enough time in there for him to have forgot one of the, for him to have said one of the words and it got dropped. He forgot the fucking words and they didn't re-record it. They just said, for the second time in 2 weeks, a billionaire's gone into space. Completely deflate Bezos.
The sky is no longer the limit.
The sky is no longer. You fucking grew up in the wrong cartoon. You watched the gay cartoons, didn't you?
Kidslottery.ca. License RAF 1204343.
Oh, yeah.
So we have these severe thunderstorm watches out for Toronto and
Tell
the
us why,
GTA.
Bart.
Right now it's 20, feels like 25. It's 6:30. Toronto's #1 for breaking news, traffic, and weather. This is 680 News.
Tuesday, the 20th of July. I'm Sultana Timinzik.
And I'm James Monroe. Here's what you need to know.
2 people are dead following a crash in Etobicoke, Carlingview, now closed both ways north of Dixon for the investigation. A full traffic report is seconds away.
Provincial health officials say our vaccination rates are slowing while the risk of the Delta variant is increasing around the world. They are urging eligible Ontarians who have not yet been immunized to roll up their sleeves and get their shots.
The Blue Jays will try to even the series with the Boston Red Sox this evening, and the Suns look to send the finals back to Phoenix for Game 7, Sports 45.
It's almost like Monday's tumble for equities didn't happen. Stocks stage a big comeback today. The Dow picks up more than 500 points. Business 56.
680 News Time, 6:31.
Traffic and weather together on the ones, brought to you by Expedia. Here's Jordan Kerr.
Eastbound 401 is slow going through Mississauga Road, through Dixie and the Collectors, then from Dixon to east of the Allen, and both Express and Collectors really heavy. Then it's slow from Bayview to Leslie and the Collectors, from Warden to Kennedy Collectors, and East 401 at Thixon and the east end of Whitby. The left lane's blocked up with the crash. It's jammed from the 412, so really heavy through that stretch. After that, it's still going from the 418 to Holt. And once you're
Piling sandbags on the shore? Global News believes in a greater Toronto. Weeknights at 5:30 with Alan Carter and Farah Nasser.
I want to thank Global News for being there for
Not
us.
angry. The middle class has been eviscerated week by 3 years. How come you're still taking money from people and not doing it? And make your story our story. Why is the community dealing with this flooding? We all come out and we help out piling sandbags on the shore. Global News believes in a greater Toronto. Weeknights at 5:30 with Alan Carter and Farah Nasser.
I want to thank
They better
Global
fucking melt
News
up
for
in the
being
bed.
there for us.
Ew.
Bold, creative,
well, the mouse is gonna get
determined. Entrepreneurs are behind some of Canada's biggest success stories. And now they're sharing their secrets with you.
The 3 traits of successful entrepreneurs are guts, fortitude, and the sense to know when to push on. And
Karaoke, right? Didn't he just get off those DUI charges because he had like a double shot of vodka, or what was it? Was it tequila in some fucking nature area?
In Toronto.
Oh, somebody's singing Donator. No. It's a shitty song. Alright, where's the one? Oh, I broke it up. Damn it. I had like 4 of them stuck together.
And ordinary people like the ones here today help.
First of all, by having absolutely zero tolerance for anyone in any leadership position that plays up the politics of fear or division. Canadians massively rejected that in 2015, and we need to continue to remain vigilant that in various rhetoric and dog whistle politics and coded language,
why are you giving us
we're
stuff that
calling out
melts?
people who are encouraging Canadians to be divided
weather.
as opposed to pulling together.
Why do you put food that will go bad if it warms up to room temperature on top of food that is steaming up?
And Justin Trudeau. Alex Pearson with you on this Tuesday, July 20th. Enjoying a little bit of a thunderstorm overhead right now in the downtown Toronto area. So thank you, Mother Nature, for watering the plants now that I don't have time to water. So that is happening in our world here, and we'll keep an eye to the sky because there's a bit of weather.
I found grapes out there this fucking big.
In the province in different areas over the next couple of hours, as Anthony Furnell just explained. Had a very busy day, of course, starting with this, another billionaire going into space. And of course, I don't know if it was lost on anyone, but Bezos did it in what I felt was a pretty phallic-shaped rocket.
Backwards at least
And
40
maybe it's a bit of a
meters, and still with enough force to collide with and break a light pole. The roof of the black minivan has simply been torn to pieces from the force of the impact. Now, meanwhile, the red vehicle that was involved in this from the very beginning carried forward with enough forward momentum to become airborne, flip around backwards, and land with its rear end against the edge of the building, also landing on top of a silver car that was parked in the corner of the parking lot there against the factory plant here. Now, we know from Toronto Police that
the factory plant
and adult female have been killed. They were both in the same vehicle, and they must have been in that red vehicle there, because I've met the gentleman who owns the black minivan, and he says it was simply parked there and unattended at the time.
Some interesting plant stuff in there.
Hours and hours for Toronto Police to sort this one out. This is such a terrible mess of a collision with such a horribly tragic ending. Reporting live on Carlingview Drive, I'm Mark Douglas.
The province's top doctor says there is no need for vaccination incentives or passports just yet. Our jab rates continue to climb, and based on the current timeline.
If you got the AstraZeneca, you're not allowed in some countries.
Kieran Moore. Phil. So, Jana, Dr. Kieran Moore is urging the 2.4 million eligible Ontarians who are not yet vaccinated to roll up their sleeves to get their shots. He says it's our ticket to a post-pandemic world, and you need 2 doses for maximum protection against the Delta variant, which is on the rise around the world.
The modeling, though, tells us that once we're at around 90% of the population immunized, eligible population immunized, that the...
Now, anytime you get to the extreme edge of any model, it's completely whatever the person that wrote the model thinks it might do, because the boundaries of the model are artificial. That's why you model things. So it doesn't matter what his model says. It's only going to reflect what the coder was told to put in or what they thought might work. Once we get to 90%, then that herd immunity that takes place at 65% will really maybe begin to kick in. Remember that. He wants 50% more people to get twice as many almost. So there are a lot of things you might not notice. Whey protein concentrate, peanuts, peanut butter, tapioca syrup, vegetable glycerin, chicory fiber syrup. That's dandelion. Natural flavors. Oh, thank you. I thought all this stuff was natural flavors. High oleic sunflower oil, pea protein, rice flour, cane sugar, palm kernel, gluten-free rolled oats. Bastards, I want my gluten. Rice flour, gluten-free rolled oats, but rice flour. You're fucking creative. You're fucking stupid. Inulin. But then in brackets, blue agave. Agave. Huh. Cocoa, sea salt, rice starch, skim milk powder, sunflower lesson, tocopherols. What the fuck's... Contains peanuts and milk. Yeah, I read that. May contain tree nuts and soy. Yeah, I read that 3 times now.
Cormac McSweeney, Parliament Hill.
I just saved you a little bit of... You don't have to clean that layer of bullshit out. There you go.
There's issued severe thunderstorm watches for Toronto and parts of the GTA. We're also under a special air quality statement. 6 City weather specialist Denise Andriachi is following the developments and joins us live with the latest. Denise.
Well, we have some good news with that special air quality statement, and that's that we're starting to see some sections of the GTA see that statement dropped. And it's areas that have already gotten into some of that more severe weather and have seen the risk of active weather diminish, and they're tapping into that fresher air, and they're starting to see those air qualities. And here in the city, we are still under severe thunderstorm watches, and we still have this special air quality statement in effect. But areas where it has ended, areas like Newmarket, Georgina, and Northern York region. In terms of the active weather, the thunderstorm weather, it's mainly through the south end of the GTA right now. We're seeing, for the most part, non-severe thunderstorms, but definitely some heavier rain in sections. It'll be another hour or so till we're really in the clear with this active weather.
We're not getting the best picture, are we?
We've really tapped into some cooler air. We're down to 20 degrees right now in Pearson, and overnight will be near 17 for the next couple of days, thanks to this active weather.
we're going to tap into some fresher air. So you may miss the heat and humidity. It's not going to be back in the forecast till the end of the weekend. But right now at Pearson, we're still seeing that thunderstorm activity. So take it easy on the roads. Reporting live from the 680 Weather Center, I'm Denise Andriacci.
And police have issued a warrant for the arrest of a suspect in a deadly hit and run in the Portlands. They're looking for 32-year-old Robert Cade of Toronto. When they find him, he'll be charged with second-degree murder and attempted murder. You can see his photo at 680news.com.
You left one alive!
Services are next.
Coronavirus updates and breaking.
You left one of them alive. Oh, you are so fucked. That's a double homicide with 2 witnesses. Holy shit, you're bad, bro. You're fucked.
Tool was also left off in. And Paul basically called Trudeau on it today, tweeting at him that he failed to invite the country's first and only Jewish leader to take part in this one-day anti-Semitism summit Trudeau's hosting Wednesday. So why wasn't she invited? And for the record, Aaron O'Toole was also left off the invite list, and he's been asking for an invite for several weeks now.
Oh, dear. That is not classy. So if you're wondering just how sincere Trudeau is in solving hate, racism, Islamophobia, anti-Semitism, and all this division that his identity politics has created in Canada, when he actually starts using it for political gain, then I guess we'll know. Which one was the Jewish one?
As I said,
the female one. Would that be the same
most
one?
Insufferable election campaign heading our way. I'll put money on it right now. We got a very busy show for you tonight, so let's get at it. Coming up after the break, we'll talk about whether the charter, our beloved charter, is going to deny justice yet again, this time in the killing of a mother and her 3 daughters. We're going to talk about the defense strategy being used in this very high-profile impaired driving case, that if it's successful, is not just outrageous, it will be an absolute travesty. So Joe Newberger is about to
knew you were going to say travesty.
A lot. But it'll be fun. We'll talk to him in just a minute. Stay with us here. Alex Pearson on point, and this is Global News Radio.
And now it's time to go out and take a look at the roads with chopper traffic. Here's Ari Rabinov.
Unfortunately, I got no milk, no chocolate milk this time.
For decades, but what is new is that it's not changing, and today we are well aware of these largely disproportionate numbers. One might say that it starts by the people who call in with reports of child abuse, and once there is a report of child abuse, then the system kicks into gear to decide, should we go out and investigate that? And a lot of those calls disproportionately are about Black and Latino and Native American children here in LA County.
Does that mean people are being racist?
Right? I mean, you find
Does that mean the system is not helping those kids, so they're still there, so there's more complaints? Right? What does that mean exactly?
One of the big factors here. Poverty is a really big factor.
Don't ask!
You know, often to some social workers, poverty might look like neglect. DCFS will say, well, we're training our social workers. We're putting them through anti-bias and cultural awareness trainings. But is it enough?
Right. Well, then you end this documentary with a voice from outside of California, a mother in New York.
I was about to turn that off.
Who's calling for the whole child welfare system to be abolished altogether.
What would
you have a child welfare system? We don't have one of those in Canada.
Supported the family who we said was not rising to a level that we wish they would rise to in caring for their child. If they didn't lack a coat, because instead of giving money to a foster parent, you bought a damn coat, or you bought a bag of groceries, even if you had to do that consistently for a moment.
Tell us more about that point of view.
There was a call that I was seeing and hearing about to abolish child protective services. You know, I think this movement of mothers, and it is mothers, in New York City took inspiration to say, you know, maybe in some cases, and in many cases, this is not working. Why are we keeping on doing the same thing? The solution might be to actually not take children at all, but to find other ways of intervening and providing support.
That was Deepa Fernandez. She reported unsafe in foster care for the public radio show.
One of your parents and the other one, hey.
Both parts.
You got like 2 types of brown, eh? That's pretty cool. Our prime minister would have to go through twice to make money. So,
you are listening to All Things Considered.
I should have put the music on.
And deliver right to your doorstep. So all you have to do is pick and grill.
This is some type
On
of
the menu
seafood, but I can't
tonight,
remember which one.
porterhouse steak for two.
For two, eh?
Yeah, as in me and my wife.
Of course, obviously. You know that steak is pretty huge.
Nice try, Sam.
Good food. Eating evolved. Visit makegoodfood.ca. Certain conditions apply. Details on makegoodfood.ca.
Introducing the LCBO Summer Hot List, a list of refreshing ways to help make this summer in Ontario one to remember. Like Hot List idea number 3.
That's party
Why
in the
not give your
USA.
cooler a summer fit makeover? Now
That
you
is
can
a
choose something
knockoff.
light for a weekend at home, like the new low-sugar White Claw Watermelon Seltzer, only available at the LCBO. It pairs perfectly with your favorite lounge chair. Find the widest selection of summer refreshment at the LCBO. Visit lcbo.com for home delivery or for same-day pickup.
With the Daily Grand Lotto, you can win $1,000 a day for life.
Wait, every single day?
Yeah.
Same day pickup at the LCBO. There's like you can walk there, take it off the shelf, and because that's how they do it at the LCBO, they can't change that one. Oh, we're gonna bring it to you on the side while you're gonna get smacked with something heavy, and the whole store is gonna get around. And there won't be anybody there to see it because they're all at home ordering off the internet. Yeah, that wouldn't work for you guys, would it? Everything is on sports. Don't believe me? BBC. Oh, it might not be on BBC.
Or are airlines required to refund?
CRI. Little bastard! Well, that's not spoiling.
How's it? How's it quiet? Don't thank me, thank Goran.
Thank you.
You're welcome. He saw the disc. You didn't see his face. It was totally blank.
Dear sir, thank you for your generosity. As a man, I feel so sorry for you. Please take good care of yourself. Wish you good luck in future adventures.
When did you tape our conversation?
Recorded what? I never recorded anything.
Huh? It never occurred to you he might know.
After the beating his wife gave him last night, he's just fractionless glass right now. He'll buy anything I sold him.
Drive to charges which carry tougher penalties. And last week we talked about the fact that Robertson's already pleaded guilty to 4 counts of dangerous driving causing death. He did that at the beginning of his trial in Brampton, but now
How was their trial then?
it's the fight for the impaired charges. And in his closing, his lawyers argued that not only had the Crown not proved that the man was impaired when he T-boned this mother and her children, killing all inside back on June 16th, 2020, but that the judge should exclude Crown evidence linked to the police search of his vehicle, where both fentanyl and pot were found. They also want the judge to exclude how police collected his blood and urine samples while in hospital because they argue it violates his charter rights guarding against unreasonable search and seizure. Joseph Newberger is our global news
subsequent to a vehicle collision, you're in the hospital, unconscious. You need to take that shit. Yeah, it's relevant. Oh, you need to wait till after it's all gone from my body before you're allowed to test. It doesn't work that way in Canada.
Well, it'll really, I think, anger a lot of people if this defense strategy works, because this guy was charged days later.
Joseph Newberger is our global news radio, a legal expert. And Joe, when I started reading this, I thought, oh, here we go again. But we may agree to disagree on this one tonight. Thanks for coming on.
You predicted it well. Hi, Alex. How are you?
Agree to disagree. What is the agree to disagree?
It'll really, I think, anger a lot of people if this defense strategy works, because this guy was charged days later because he was hospitalized after this.
Yeah, well,
this
they can
incident.
take days to charge
and then,
you
of course,
if
the
you're handcuffed to
inventory
a
is
fucking
taken
bed.
to a car by the police, and that's when
They didn't put
the
handcuffs so you
drugs.
couldn't get up.
They removed that evidence, according to the defense strategy of the lawyer, without a proper warrant. And so they're trying to argue that there were no grounds for this search and that they didn't follow protocol of getting, trying to get records. And then when it came to his blood and urine samples, this guy's blood drug concentration was way over the legal limit, and he had fentanyl in his system. But at what point, I mean, I understand that you need a warrant to get evidence.
No,
but where are there no grounds for the cops to go in a car and check for drugs?
Okay, so I've got a couple of points to make. First of all, because I think you're talking about
the car is smashed apart. They can see in the car.
It's really important.
If it's in plain sight, guess what? No warrant.
That justice is not a matter of public opinion, but must be a product of a judicious and fair process. And that is really important to maintain constitutional charter.
So that means if the law stems just because of a United Nations treaty or a treaty with other nations, period, then and we find that it goes against our core values as a society, we end up throwing down that law, then how is it that you also ignore the laws, the UN rights, like the DRIP, and call me nigger in my eviction hearing, and we don't know what you are, all the rest of us, 24 different things in there. He's so
really
scary.
We protect these rights.
We're scared,
The
except that
second
there's
thing I'm gonna say
plexiglass. Yeah, because
it's
niggers are
astonishing,
diseased, and if we
absolutely
breathe the same
astonishing.
air,
If
you won't
I'm a
be
lead
royal blood
investigator
no
on this
more,
case,
because they're all
with
royal
this
blood, right?
carnage, I
A
would
bunch of
take steps
wannabe
to make sure the
inbred
car is
fucking
secured. You're going to be able to
baby
develop grounds to
factories.
get a
What you're
warrant.
punching on
It's not
for.
brain surgery here to do this. And then at the hospital,
Oh, did I
where they're
talk over the
collecting
lawyer?
blood,
I saved you
based
some
upon
trouble,
other
don't worry.
evidence that will be objectively supportive of a warrant, you could also get a warrant and execute it. In this case, if what we're reading in the media reports of the trial is correct, that when they had impounded the car, they did a search of the car for inventory, that is not a bridge to seizing evidence. And it cannot be condoned in any way, shape, or form, in my opinion.
So are you saying
And then
that
the blood
inventory
is like a
thing is
no-brainer.
completely
Okay, well, let me
BS?
stop you there before we get into the blood, because I
You
want to break
didn't
that
say
down.
that.
And I agree, you got to
I
protect
would
rights,
say
but
that's
we can't abuse them using the charter to hide behind.
Okay, so if the tow truck driver or the parking enforcement opens your vehicle to do an inventory, it's completely illegal. They are on their own, going completely against their work regulations to steal your shit. Where did the police come into this? We're inventorying it. The car smashed into another car so hard that it killed 4 people. Yeah, the Transportation Safety Board can take the whole car, disassemble it, and they don't have to put it back together for you. You don't necessarily have the right to a claim to the ownership ever again. What are you going to fucking do? Nothing, because it's the fucking government. Where does the need for a warrant come in? We're not talking about a car sitting at the side of the road and they kick the window in and start looking for stuff. That's not what happened. Emergency responders would have seen whatever on the, if it's there, it's there. And it's
in the submissions of the Crown.
It's not just a legal matter. It's got to do with life-saving medical information. You find somebody unconscious on the floor and a bottle of some type of chemical laying next to them, you grab the bottle too and bring it with you to the hospital just in case that's what they did, because it's most likely something to do with whatever the fuck just happened to them. It's the same thing with all this shit.
You should be more concerned.
Am I talking too much common sense?
This isn't done properly. Like, it's not that hard. And then
it's not that hard, but I mean, knowing full well the calamity that we're talking, when you're talking about a woman and her 3 babies, I mean, you know that the media is all over this high-profile case.
We heard that one that day that happened.
Charge going, make sure you've dotted all these I's, crossed all these T's, which they should do in every investigation. But there are lots of things that they can do to protect themselves. I mean, they can take bodily fluids and then seal them until a proper warrant is obtained. But where was the authority then to make sure that this was done by the books and they weren't going to screw you?
No, they can't. That's not how that works either. They could take bodily fluids and wait till later to get the warrant. No, you need the warrant to collect the bodily fluids.
No, that's very good.
But again, in the hospital, this gets a little complicated.
I can't imagine there wasn't a senior officer involved with the traffic division or whatever it is in Peel Region and in charge and sort of directing a process that there was not some sort of chain of command and protocol put in place for this. I'm surprised. Maybe there's something we're missing from the evidence. Maybe police officers didn't.
Maybe some of the records have already been redacted,
and it was something that was accidentally
maybe things have been stricken from the record.
Oops, they found it. But then, if they would have seen it, they should leave it, seal the car, and then.
If they've seen it, they should leave it and seal the car. No, they can't, because then it's not in their custody anymore. You don't understand chain of custody.
And I think we need some transparency and more answers, which we're going to see when Her Honor renders a judgment on this charter motion.
Yeah, I mean, the bottom line is, and this now makes more sense as to why they went the strategy of pleading out to the dangerous driving offenses, because, hey, if this evidence is excluded, there goes all the impairment charges, and he's going to go away on conviction for what, 3-4 years?
You know, I got to be honest. You know, I think now within the realm of,
if you hit a cyclist on purpose in the city of Toronto, well, in the province of Ontario, it's a $150 fine.
And
murder
the
them.
rampage
It's a $150
now
fine.
with speed.
So if you wonder why I don't ride a bike no more, that's why. Now, if you're going to do that with the car, you got to do it while I'm a pedestrian. You don't get it quite that easy at that point. And yeah, there's a whole bunch of other things going on.
To me, it's a redirect. I think the sentencing law is evolving in this area. If it's maybe
a legal redirect or an internet redirect,
maybe. But I think regardless, given the incredibly
one means something totally different.
You know, I'm lost for words at this type of driving and conduct of this individual, and it is convicted of the June 16th dangerous driving. I mean, you know,
he got convicted of something he did on a video,
regardless of the
something he did that a dash cam caught him doing.
Yeah, it's too bad we don't have you on the bench. But just quickly before I let you go, Joe, because I don't have a ton of time.
That's not too common.
If Rob, on the conviction on the dangerous driving, let's say he doesn't get the impaired conviction.
Charge well
will
after
still use the precedent set in the Mutso case for sentencing, or is that not something that could be used for sentencing precedent?
No, I would refer it. I mean, it's relevant because of his impairment, he blew through I forgot what it was, a light, and was at a high rate of speed. So I think that's comparable. Right. There are other impaired driving cases where people are pleading out to dangerous operation causing death as well. So I think you can use these all as precedent and show that there's an evolution in driving offenses and sentencing.
There you go. All right. Well,
what is the difference?
Written, I'd like it called vehicular, manslaughter, vehicular homicide. I'd like the law just so we can at least, make it as serious as it is and should be treated. All right. We'll wait and see, Joe, and I'll call and rant and rave at you again.
By the way, that's the vehicular, I forget which one it is now too. Is it called vehicular manslaughter? Is only applicable if you're intoxicated. Then it's not. If I hit you with a car, that's not vehicular manslaughter. I don't understand it either, but that's how the law is written. So if it sounds like I don't understand it, I don't understand it because that's how it's fucking written.
We step away.
Up until today, this moment, I am still consulting for the military on Afghanistan.
Maybe not for much longer, though. Almost all U.S. troops are out. Last week, the commander of U.S. forces ended his mission in a brief ceremony. The Taliban have been making rapid gains outside major cities.
You smashed up the base like you ain't never coming back. Guess what? You ain't going to be too happy.
And just, I think...
You ain't going to be too happy. You come back for your 4th, 5th term of service and fucking you're at the same base you smashed up. Why would you smash it up? Why wouldn't you just shoot it up? You're fucking retarded. You destroyed the base. You also understand the Taliban forces don't do anything the way we do them. So the base being, so you smashed up things that are important to Western white boys, and they don't give a fuck about none of that.
Will allow the Afghan people to find their voice in this conflict.
And
I guarantee if you were from Toronto when you did that, you'd be going back to that same base. I guarantee.
Lila says she's ready to serve her country in other ways.
For me, on this personal level of what does it feel like, what are my next steps, I am looking forward to just being.
You realize you're a complete waste. Every single one of you is a complete waste of time and effort. Everything you did was a step backwards. You'd have been better off not doing it. You realize that, right? You know that, right? What was the U.S.'s justification for Afghanistan? Yeah, somehow it was to that Taliban was tied to Al Qaeda, these organizations we made up that blew up a building that you can't knock down the skyscraper with a plane. You can't knock it if you don't understand how levers are. You can't. Well, you would have the leverage, but it wouldn't break there. You'd be bending it like an art, like a. I don't know. Explain what I'm trying to say. You can't do it. It would break somewhere else first. But it can't because it's a complete 3D grid of steel. Yeah, it can't be done. The concrete holds it in compression and the steel holds it in tension. You can't. So, but I watched you. We got all 19 hijackers in custody. yesterday, the day before, we heard them talking about how they're about to get released from Guantanamo because they've been there 19 years, and if we're not gonna do whatever, we should let it. Wouldn't it be 20? Whatever. And you know, all the hijackers in custody. Are you fucking stupid? But they keep saying this. They didn't say it for 18 fucking years because they knew how ridiculous it sounds. They said it yesterday talking about closing down Guantanamo. All the rest of you were too busy working, being good. Hey, I'm good, I work, I'm good, I work. I watch people literally walk down the street go, oh, I put all my money in this stock, this mutual fund, and it's up 30% for the last 2 months. 2001, H2000. The tech stocks, right, that's what it was, internet. So the mouse, I can confirm, is eating all the tomatoes. Yeah, here we go. Dude, you're a fucking retard. You are so pathological, it's pathetic, eh? And every time I criticize you on a personal level,